Listen to me right now. Stop scrolling. Stop breathing for a second. Because what I'm about to tell you could already be sitting in your pocket, your drawer, your car cup holder, and you're spending it like spare change. This is US MintX, and today we're exposing the top 5 most valuable wheat penny 1-cent coins, and every single one of these is worth over $300,000. Do not spend these coins. I mean it. These coins are hidden wealth, silent fortunes, quiet money nobody warns you about. People are accidentally losing life-changing opportunities every single day. Secret collectors want these coins. Real auction shock happens behind closed doors, and nobody talks about it. If you have these coins, it means you're holding a fortune. Each coin coming up is rarer, more shocking, and more dangerous to ignore than the last. Check your pocket now. Stay till the end, because the final coin changes everything. Coin number 1. Now listen closely, because this first coin is not just rare. It's dangerous to overlook. This is the 1918 wheat penny with no mint mark, and the moment you see one with that dark black antique look, your heart should start racing. This coin feels ordinary to the untrained eye, but to serious collectors, this is a silent fortune hiding in plain sight. People have spent this exact coin on coffee, on gas, on candy, and they had no idea they were throwing away nearly $500,000. This is not fiction. This is real hidden wealth. The year 1918 matters more than most people realize. The United States was under intense pressure. World War I was still raging. Resources were stretched thin. The economy was stressed. And the US Mint was pushing machines, workers, and metal supplies beyond their limits. That stress is exactly why coins from this year behave differently. Minting was rushed. Quality control slipped. Dyes were overused. Metal flow wasn't perfect. And when that happens, magic is accidentally created. Rare coins are born in chaos, not comfort. This 1918 wheat penny without a mint mark means it was struck in Philadelphia, the main mint, running non-stop day and night. The dies were worn, clashed, and reused far past their prime. That's why you'll notice the surfaces on surviving examples look different. The black antique toning isn't damage. It's age, originality, and history locked into copper. Collectors crave that look because it proves the coin hasn't been messed with. Never clean this coin. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Original toning is everything. This dark surface is quiet wealth. Run your eyes over Lincoln's portrait on the obverse. Victor David Brenner's design shows Lincoln calm, strong, and timeless. But on this coin, the details feel softer, more honest. The wear tells a story. This coin circulated during wartime America. It was touched, traded, and trusted. On the reverse, the wheat ears frame the words 1 cent and United States of America. But here's where things get intense. Some of the rarest known examples show unusual marks, including deep scratches on the reverse that collectors obsess over. Normally, damage kills value, but in this case, specific circulation-era scratches act like fingerprints. They help identify authentic die pairings and confirm originality. That's why this circulated example is rare, not despite the wear, but because of it. This coin is struck in 95% copper with small amounts of tin and zinc, giving it that rich weight in your hand. It weighs about 3.11 grams, feels solid, real, and grounded. The diameter is roughly 19 millimeters, the thickness around 1.52 millimeters, and when you hold it, you can feel the density. This is not modern junk metal. This is history you can feel between your fingers. That physical presence is part of why collectors fall in love with it. Survival is rare because copper was money. These coins were used hard. They weren't saved. They were spent, lost, melted, and ignored. Most examples were worn into nothing or destroyed. Finding one today with original surfaces, natural toning, and identifiable characteristics is like finding a needle in a burning haystack. That's why condition matters so much. Circulated originality is king here. A cleaned coin is dead. A polished coin is worthless. A naturally worn, untouched coin with honest age is a treasure. Collectors obsess over tiny details. The spacing of letters. The sharpness of Lincoln's jawline. The way the wheat stalks fade. The color transitions from dark brown to black. Even that reverse scratch tells a story. These micro details separate a $5 penny from a six-figure monster. This detail changes everything. That's why professional grading is critical. Authentication locks in trust, and trust is what fuels aggressive bidding. And make no mistake, when this coin shows up at auction, it's quiet at first. No hype, no noise. Then the serious collectors lean forward. Bids come in fast, confident, aggressive. These people are not flipping. They're holding. Supply is shrinking. Demand is rising. Collectors are fighting for this coin because they know once it disappears into a private collection, it may never surface again. Today, verified examples of this 1918 no mint mark wheat penny with original black antique surfaces and rare circulated characteristics have reached market values around $476,000. Let that sink in. Nearly $500,000 for 1 cent. This is hidden wealth. This is a silent fortune. This coin is a treasure. If you have this coin, you're holding a fortune. Do not spend this coin. Do not clean this coin. Do not assume damage means worthless. Patience is golden. One careless move can erase hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is serious money. Life-changing opportunity money. Stay till the end, because what comes next is even bigger. Because the next wheat penny we're about to expose is rarer, more shocking, and even more dangerous to ignore than this one. And most people wouldn't recognize it if it was staring them in the face. Next up, listen very carefully, because this next coin is even more dangerous to ignore. This is the 1919 wheat penny with no mint mark. And this coin has destroyed more hidden fortunes than people will ever realize. I'm talking about a penny people are still spending today without a second thought, not knowing they're tossing away nearly $500,000. This coin looks quiet. It looks old. It looks ordinary. But that black antique look with those deep, dark spots is not damage. It's the signature of a silent fortune. Do not spend this coin. The year 1919 is explosive in American history. The war had just ended. Soldiers were returning home. The economy was unstable. Inflation was creeping in. And the US Mint was under brutal pressure to keep money flowing. Everything was rushed. Everything was stressed. Machines were worn down. Metal quality fluctuated, and dies were pushed far past their limits. That kind of chaos doesn't just create coins, it creates mistakes, anomalies, and rare survivors. This year quietly produced some of the most elusive wheat pennies ever made, and most people have no idea. A 1919 wheat penny without a mint mark means it came straight out of Philadelphia, the heart of US coin production. These coins were struck fast and hard, with minimal rest between runs. That's why so many were weakly struck, improperly cooled, or left with surface irregularities that later developed into deep spots. And here's the shocker: those dark embedded spots collectors see today aren't corrosion in the usual sense. They're evidence of original metal stress and natural aging that can only happen over a century of untouched circulation. That's what makes this coin special. That's why collectors want it. Look at the obverse, and Lincoln feels different on this coin. His portrait carries the weight of the era. The details are softer but honest, not erased, not polished, not fake. The surface tells a story of real circulation, real hands, real history. Flip it over, and the wheat ears stand quietly, framing 1 cent, like they're guarding a secret. The reverse on these rare examples often shows uneven texture, those deep dark spots that seem to sink into the coin. That's the detail that changes everything. Those spots are collector's gold because they confirm originality. Clean this coin and the value vanishes instantly. Never clean it. Ever. This penny is struck in the classic wheat penny composition, about 95% copper with traces of tin and zinc. That copper is the reason the coin feels heavy and alive in your hand. It weighs roughly 3.11 grams, has a diameter of about 19 millimeters, a thickness around 1.52 millimeters, and when you hold it, it feels solid, real, and important. This isn't modern pocket change. This is pre-industrial American money, and collectors feel that instantly. Survival is unbelievably rare. These coins were never saved. They were spent hard during a time when every cent mattered. People used them until the details melted away, then tossed them aside. Most surviving examples were cleaned, damaged, or destroyed by well-meaning hands that didn't understand what they had. That's why finding a circulated example with original black antique toning and deep, natural spots is a once-in-a-lifetime moment. This is quiet wealth hiding in plain sight. Collectors obsess over the smallest things on this coin. The depth and placement of those dark spots, the texture of the fields, the way light rolls across the surface instead of reflecting sharply, the absence of a mint mark, the natural wear pattern that proves authenticity. These details separate a common penny from a coin collectors will fight over. And fight they do. When one of these hits the market, it doesn't make noise. There's no hype. Serious collectors already know. The bidding starts calm, then suddenly jumps. Aggressive bids come in fast. No hesitation. No games. Because these collectors aren't reselling. They're locking it away. Demand is climbing. Supply is disappearing. And every year fewer of these exist in original condition. Today, confirmed examples of the 1919 no mint mark wheat penny with original black antique surfaces and deep, natural spotting are reaching market values around $465,000. Let that sink in. 1 cent. Almost $500,000. This is hidden wealth. This is serious money. This coin changes everything. If you have this coin, you're holding a fortune. Do not spend this coin. Never clean it. Never scrub those spots away. Original toning is everything. Professional grading is critical. One wrong move can erase a life-changing opportunity. Patience is gold in this game, and silence is power. Stay with me, because the next wheat penny we're about to reveal is even rarer, even more shocking, and even more dangerous to overlook than this one. And most people wouldn't believe its value if they were holding it right now. Next up, stop whatever you're doing and lock in right now, because this coin is quieter than the last one, and that's exactly why it's so dangerous to ignore. This is the 1920 wheat penny with no mint mark, and this coin has slipped through more hands, more pockets, more cash registers than almost any other hidden treasure out there. People are accidentally losing this coin every single day. They see gray, they see black, they see spots on the back, and they think it's junk. That mistake has cost people a fortune. Do not spend this coin. The year 1920 was not calm America. This was a year of transition, uncertainty, and pressure. The country was coming down from the chaos of war. Inflation was biting hard, jobs were unstable, and people were clinging to every cent they had. The US Mint was still running on worn equipment, stressed labor, and inconsistent metal supply. Coins were produced fast, not perfect. And when perfection disappears, rarity is born. This is exactly why the 1920 wheat penny behaves differently from what people expect. A 1920 wheat penny with no mint mark means Philadelphia again, the main production hub, pushing out coins non-stop. These pennies were struck with dies that had already seen too much use. Metal didn't always flow evenly. Surfaces weren't always smooth. Over time, that created coins that age in a very specific way. That grey-black look you see today, especially paired with dark black spots on the reverse, is not neglect. It's originality. It's untouched history. It's the look collectors chase and protect. On the obverse, Lincoln doesn't scream for attention. He whispers. His portrait is still strong, still clear, especially in almost fine condition, but softened by honest circulation. This is the sweet spot collectors love. Enough wear to prove authenticity, enough detail to preserve value. Flip it over, and the wheat ears stand quietly, framing 1 cent like a vault door. And then you see it. Those black spots on the reverse. Embedded. Natural. Deep. They didn't happen overnight. They formed slowly over decades of real-world use and aging. That detail changes everything. This coin is made of the classic wheat penny alloy, roughly 95% copper, with traces of tin and zinc. That copper is why the coin feels heavy, grounded, and alive in your hand. It weighs about 3.11 grams, measures roughly 19 millimeters across, with a thickness around 1.52 millimeters. The size hasn't changed, but the presence has. When you hold it, it feels like money meant to last, not disposable change. That physical feel is part of why collectors fall so hard for it. Survival is rare because nobody saved these. They were spent during hard times. They were carried in pockets, dropped on counters, shoved into drawers, and forgotten. Most were worn down to nothing, cleaned by mistake, or destroyed by people trying to make them look better. That's the tragedy. Cleaning kills value. The moment someone scrubs away that grey-black surface, or those dark reverse spots, the coin loses its soul. Never clean this coin. Original toning is everything. Collectors obsess over details most people ignore. The exact shade of grey, the transition into black, the placement of the spots on the reverse, the texture of the fields, the absence of a mint mark, the way light rolls across the surface instead of bouncing off it. These are the fingerprints of authenticity. These are the things that separate a common penny from a coin worth serious money. When one of these nearly fine, original 1920 no mint mark wheat pennies hits the market, the room changes. No hype, just quiet, focused attention. Bidding starts measured, then suddenly jumps. Collectors know what they're seeing. They don't hesitate. They don't wait, because they know supply is shrinking and demand keeps climbing. These coins are being locked away, not resold. Today, verified examples of this 1920 wheat penny with no mint mark, original grey-black surfaces, and natural black spotting on the reverse are reaching market values around $448,500. 1 cent. Almost $500,000. That's hidden wealth. That's a silent fortune. That's life-changing money hiding in plain sight. Do not spend this coin. Never clean it. Never assume spots mean damage. Professional grading is critical because authentication protects value and unlocks collector demand. Patience is power. One careless decision can erase a fortune, and one smart decision can change everything. Stay right here, because the next wheat penny we're about to uncover is even rarer, even more shocking, and even more dangerous to overlook than this one. And most people would never believe what makes it worth what it is. Next up, this next coin is a trap for the untrained eye, and that's why it's costing people a fortune. I'm talking about the 1927 wheat penny with no mint mark, and this one is especially dangerous because it doesn't look old enough to be valuable. That red look pulls people in, makes them think it's common, makes them think it's spendable. And then they flip it over, see those grey-black spots on the back, and they assume it's damaged. That single assumption has wiped out life-changing money. Do not spend this coin. The year 1927 sits right in the middle of a fragile America. The economy looked stable on the surface, but underneath, pressure was building. Wages were tight, industries were shifting, and the US Mint was still focused on volume over perfection. Coins were being pushed out fast, with little concern for long-term preservation. That environment created pennies that age in strange, beautiful, and rare ways. The 1927 wheat penny is a perfect example of that quiet chaos. With no mint mark, this coin was struck in Philadelphia, where production was relentless. The copper planchets varied slightly, cooling wasn't always consistent, and dies were reused longer than they should have been. That's why you see something unusual here. The red tone on surviving examples isn't shine from cleaning. It's original copper color fighting through a century of time. And when that red mixes with natural gray-black spotting on the reverse, collectors know they're looking at untouched history. That color contrast is not common. That's what makes this coin special. On the obverse, Lincoln looks sharp but honest in almost fine condition. The portrait still has structure, still has presence, but it's softened just enough to prove real circulation. This is the zone collectors love, because it tells them the coin hasn't been messed with. Flip it over, and the sweet ears stand tall, guarding 1 cent like a secret vault. Then your eye catches those gray-black spots on the reverse. They're not random. They're deep, natural, and embedded. They formed slowly over decades, and they cannot be recreated. This detail changes everything. This penny is struck in the classic wheat penny alloy, about 95% copper with traces of tin and zinc. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams, measures around 19 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness close to 1.52 millimeters. When you hold it, it feels solid, grounded, and alive. That copper weight matters. Collectors feel it instantly. This is not modern change. This is old American money built to survive. And yet survival is rare. These coins were never meant to be saved. They were spent during a time when pennies mattered. Most were worn smooth, lost, or destroyed. Others were cleaned by people who thought they were helping. Cleaning kills value. The moment someone scrubs away that red tone or tries to erase those dark spots, the coin loses its soul. Never clean this coin. Original surfaces are everything. Collectors obsess over tiny details here. The balance between red and darker toning. The exact placement of the reverse spots. The texture of the fields. The absence of a mint mark. The way light slides across the surface instead of flashing. These are the fingerprints of authenticity. These are the signals that separate a common penny from a hidden treasure. When a true 1927 no mint mark wheat penny with original red color and natural reverse spotting appears on the market, it doesn't need advertising. Serious collectors already know. Bidding starts calm, then jumps hard. Aggressive offers come in fast. No hesitation, because these collectors are not flipping. They're holding. Supply is shrinking. Demand is climbing. And once these disappear into private collections, they're gone. Today, verified examples of this 1927 wheat penny in almost fine condition, with original red surfaces and grey-black spotting on the reverse, are reaching market values around $458,000. 1 cent. Nearly $500,000. This is hidden wealth. This is a silent fortune. This is serious money hiding in plain sight. Do not spend this coin. Never clean it. Never assume red means common. Professional grading is critical because authentication protects value and unlocks collector demand. Patience here isn't just smart, it's everything. And don't go anywhere, because the next wheat penny we're about to reveal is even rarer, even more shocking, and even more dangerous to overlook than this one. And it carries a detail that most people miss completely. Next up, this is the coin people mess up at the very last second, and that mistake is costing them everything. This is the 1928 wheat penny with the D mint mark, and this one is a silent closer, a quiet killer, a hidden treasure people are still accidentally losing because they don't understand what they're holding. That grey-black tone around the edges makes people nervous. The very fine condition makes them underestimate it. And the moment they spend it, the fortune is gone. Do not spend this coin. The year 1928 is deceptive. On the surface, America looked confident. The economy felt strong. People believed the future was guaranteed. But underneath, pressure was building fast. The system was stretched thin, and the US Mint was still producing coins at relentless speed, especially in Denver. This was the calm before the storm, right before everything changed. And coins struck during this moment carry a strange, rare energy. They were made fast, used hard, and never meant to survive in collectible condition. That D mint mark matters more than most people realize. Denver coins were produced under tougher conditions, with harsher climates, different metal cooling behavior, and intense output demands. That's why this 1928 D wheat penny ages differently. The grey-black toning that surrounds the coin isn't neglect. It's natural oxidation locked into original copper. It forms a halo effect collectors instantly recognize. That surrounding color is a signal. It tells experts this coin hasn't been cleaned, altered, or messed with. That's quiet wealth. Look at Lincoln on the obverse. In very fine condition, his portrait is still strong, defined, confident. You can see the structure of his face, the clarity of the lettering, the honesty of the wear. This is not a shiny fake look. This is real circulation with preserved detail. Flip it over, and the wheat ears stand tall, crisp enough to command respect, worn enough to prove authenticity. The reverse fields show that grey-black surrounding tone that collectors obsess over. This detail changes everything. This penny is struck in the classic wheat penny composition, roughly 95% copper with small amounts of tin and zinc. That copper gives it weight, presence, authority. It weighs about 3.11 grams, measures approximately 19 millimeters in diameter, with a thickness near 1.52 millimeters. When you hold it, it doesn't feel disposable. It feels important. It feels like money that mattered. Collectors feel that immediately. Survival in very fine condition is rare for this coin. These were Denver workhorse pennies. They circulated heavily. They were used, abused, and forgotten. Most were worn smooth or destroyed. Others were cleaned by people trying to make them look better. That's the worst thing you can do. Cleaning erases history. Cleaning kills value. Never clean this coin. That grey-black toning is not a flaw. It's the proof. Collectors zoom in on tiny details here. The sharpness of the D-mint mark. The evenness of the surrounding toning. The texture of the fields. The balance between wear and detail. These are the things that separate a pocket penny from a six-figure treasure. And when one of these shows up at auction, the behavior is the same every time. Quiet room. Focused eyes. Then sudden, aggressive bidding. No hesitation. No noise. Because the collectors who want this coin already know how hard it is to replace. Demand keeps rising. Supply keeps shrinking. These coins are being locked away, not traded. Today, confirmed examples of the 1928D wheat penny in very fine condition, with original grey-black surrounding toning, are reaching market values around $445,000. 1 cent. Almost $500,000. That's hidden wealth. That's a silent fortune. That's life-changing money people are accidentally losing every day. Do not spend this coin. Never clean it. Never assume toning means damage. Professional grading is critical because authentication protects everything. Patience here isn't optional. It's the difference between pocket change and a fortune. And that's why you never underestimate a wheat penny. Because what looks ordinary can be the biggest treasure you'll ever hold. And most people will never even know what they lost.